Hello and welcome to the Paul Green Comedy PaulCast for October 20th, 2024. This is episode 298. I am so close to 300 episodes. Can you believe it? This is stand-up comedian, actor, improviser, and dreamer Paul Green, sharing my journey, thoughts, and insights as I pursue my dreams as a comedian, in hopes that perhaps, mayhaps, I might provide a little insight, a little guidance, or if nothing else, a little entertainment to anybody out there pursuing their own dreams. Because, as I have learned, pursuing any dream, there is no shortage of negative, critical, cynical voices, both internal and external, trying to convince one that whatever it is you are pursuing is not possible for you, that it can't happen. Every cautionary tale, every failure, all of the I'm not good enough, or this isn't for me, or all of those negative voices. There is just no shortage of those, and I definitely have my fair share of those same voices, and those voices have definitely been a tremendous hindrance throughout my life. However, I have also been very fortunate and very blessed to have positive voices in my life, and people who encouraged me, people who believed in me. So this podcast, if nothing else, is just an opportunity for me to put one other positive voice out in the endless sea of internet videos and voices out there. And hopefully mine will find itself on the positive side of things, notwithstanding my own weaknesses and my struggle to navigate my own cynicisms and my own negative voices. But hopefully, if nothing else, this podcast will be a positive influence to anybody out there pursuing a dream, because I am pro going for dreams, whatever that means for you individually, because it means something different for everybody else. And although my particular dream happens to be in entertainment, I don't want anybody listening to this to assume that that means I am of the belief that every dream has to be in the entertainment field. I think dreams can take as many different forms as there are people to dream them. However, no matter what it is you're going for, there is probably some resistance out there. And my hope with this podcast, if nothing else, is just to provide a somewhat of a lubricant to any resistance out there, just to reduce the friction, maybe help be somewhat of an inspiration, maybe a little guidance if anything I say is actually worthy of being listened to and followed. I don't know. But that's what I'm up to. And the more that I have been putting myself out there and really putting as much energy into being vulnerable and being open and being transparent and being willing to share my story, share my thoughts, share my feelings while I am navigating my own ups and downs and my own pursuits and my own discouragements and my own weaknesses and strengths and all of that. To me, it just serves as an inspiration for me and encouragement for me to go, hey, I'm it's almost like a self-reminder. Me doing this podcast every single day is a reminder of like, oh yes, I'm going for this thing. And it almost serves as, how do I word this? I don't know. Just as a reminder that I'm up to something, because going for anything that is big or major is going to require a pretty significant amount of work and effort and consistency. And there are a billion other things to distract and pull away. And so I guess from a purely selfish standpoint, I'm also doing this podcast for me because it helps me. It reminds me, it encourages me, it keeps me on track to go like, oh, that's right. I'm up to this thing and I need to be taking my own advice as much as I'm giving it out, which I try not to give out too much advice, although that's probably incredibly short-sighted. Because I bet you if I go back and listen to this podcast, it's like, Paul, you're giving out plenty of advice, buddy. So anyway, today was actually a pretty relaxed day in terms of any deliberate pursuit of my comedy dreams. And I really just ended up spending most of the day with my girlfriend, which was really nice and always refreshing. And it's important to, and I've said this so many times, it's so important for me to just have people in my life who provide peace and provide encouragement. There's no toxicity. There's no selfishness. There's no it's just peaceful, and it's mutual. And what's interesting is the relationships in my past that were perhaps a little more on the toxicity side, the more I found the courage to move on from those relationships and no longer accept certain types of treatment, the more that my life has been opened up to people who provide more of a healthy and encouraging, positive influence in my life. And I'm very grateful for that, because sometimes going for dreams can be very competitive. It can feel like war out there, man. And there are plenty of people who do not have your best interest at heart, and plenty of people who would be more than happy to bring you down, or if nothing else, do what they can to discourage you, especially as often as I'm putting myself online, just how many trollers there are out there. I just had another one the other day, just posted this video, and some random person on YouTube just like posted something like, get another job, dude, or something like that on a comedy video. It just blows my mind that there are human beings who are just that visceral in how they respond to people online. And it's a good reminder that those people are always out there. And I think the universe has really been training me more and more to realize that sort of vitriol is out there, and to do better at not engaging with that, because I still make the mistake of engaging, which is just a bad idea. I got into a spat a couple weeks ago with somebody else who tried to troll me, and man, they just wrote back just the most nasty comment. And it's actually a rare case where I actually deleted the entire comment thread and blocked the person, which is not very common for me, but I had allowed this online person to pull me into a combative mode, and then I was starting to get a little snippy back, and trying to kind of insult them, and whatever, and there you go, and now I'm stuck in it too. I had a friend tell me recently, Paul, if you hop in the pigsty and start rolling around in the mud, then nobody can tell the difference. And that's very wise. And then that's a situation where I started to hop in the mud and then just went, wait, nope. I ain't doing this. So anyway, just taking a day to hang out with my girlfriend. Got a bunch of errands done. Went and saw her dad, that sort of stuff. Really, really nice day as I am getting ready for the week, which has some fun shows coming up. So first off, I will be having the Midlife Crisis comedy show on Thursday night at JP's, which I'm really excited about. Josh and I haven't done a show together since Yuma, which was back in September sometime. I don't remember when that was. And then he's been in Iowa for a couple of weeks and filming a movie, and so we haven't really had a chance to perform together. So we will be doing that show Thursday night, and then I'm going to be hopping on a plane and flying up to Salt Lake City, Utah, and this Saturday I am going to be dressing up as Lord Voldemort and entertaining the patrons of the Hartman's Hogwarts Halloween Spectacular, which is just a very random but very cool opportunity that I get to do every year. And what it is this, he's a doctor up in northern Utah, up in Ogden, Utah, and he has this big, beautiful property kind of up in the mountains of Ogden a little bit. It's kind of at the top of this mountainous drive, and when you look out, you can just see the whole city down below, and it's up in the trees. It's just beautiful. It's a stunning property. And he has tons of land and trees and everything around this house of his. And he and his family are just gigantic Harry Potter fans. So about 10 years ago, actually, I don't even know how long he's been doing it. Might even be longer than 10 years. They started throwing a community Harry Potter party every Halloween. And they have all of these different booths set up, and all of his family dresses up like all of the different characters from Harry Potter. And then people from the community will literally line up the street for hours to get in and get an opportunity to participate in this Harry Potter party, and it's completely packed. So, well, it has to have been going on longer than 10 years, because 10 years ago is when I first started participating in the Hartman Hogwarts. Dr. Hartman, that's his name. That's why it's called Hartman's Hogwarts. So I was introduced to this party by two friends of mine, Jeff and Jason Linford, who met him through when they were like up at BYU or something. And anyway, they're twins. So they were getting hired to play the Weasley twins. And then one year they're like, Paul, they don't have a Lord Voldemort. You need to come up and play Lord Voldemort because, I'm bald. So what other qualification do you need? So they hire me. They fly me up there. I go full on Lord Voldemort makeup. I get the prosthetic. I get a makeup artist. The makeup artist super glues that thing on my face, which is horribly uncomfortable, and then airbrushes the crap out of me. So anyway, I've been doing that Hardman's Hogwarts for about 10 years, and I sort of created my own Lord Voldemort character, which is actually nothing like any of the Lord Voldemorts, like any of the movies or anything. And pretty much what I would do is I would just walk the line to get into the event. And the line ends up going for, about a half mile down the road. I mean, it's like Disneyland for a day as this line starts to develop. And pretty much all I do is just insult everybody in line. I just kind of roast them and riff with them. And anyway, it's super fun. I started filming myself doing this, and then I'll post a lot of clips of it online of me walking this line of people and just riffing with them. And I've actually been posting clips of that recently, building up to it. So anyway, it's just a super fun time. So I'll be doing that this weekend. So all kinds of fun stuff coming up as I am continuing to pursue this crazy, wacky dream of mine. So with that, let's shift to some commentary on The Magic Mindset, the self-help book that I have been listening to and absorbing and very much enjoying. And today's chapter is Magic Mindset around reconciling other people's actions. Ho, 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 man. This is a tough one for yours truly. As I was listening to this chapter, the author took a couple of interesting approaches to this, all of which really started to pull on some pretty significant threads for myself and what I have experienced throughout my life, and really started to dive into some pretty significant character flaws of my own, which those are always the most fun when I have to look at the mirror and go like, oh yeah, I'm really bad at this. So the book, first of all, started out by talking about people who are in like very controlling religious families, and when there's a lot of pressure to behave a certain way or to be a certain person, and how to start to stand up for yourself and to think independently and to not let the behaviors and thoughts and actions of other people influence you negatively, or to influence you to be or think or feel something that you really aren't. And oh man, that's a deep one for me. That is a very, very deep one for me. And I mean, that very scenario of, breaking free from a religious culture that I was raised in, the pressure that went along with that to become a certain type of person, a certain type of man, has probably been one of the most significant challenges of my lifetime. No joke. And I'm still working through it. And I don't know, it's a lot more complicated than just be yourself. And if you don't believe in something, then just don't believe it and go do your own thing. It's like, yeah, not so easy. It's not so easy. And so my heart goes out to anybody out there who is in a situation to where they are either in a high-pressure family or a high-pressure religion or a high-pressure job or a high-pressure culture. I mean, whatever it is, that is, whatever life circumstance that you are in that is, that has significant persuasion over who you want to be or who they are telling you should be, which may or may not be in harmony with who you actually are and who you want to be. And of course, it's further complicated in the fact that, sometimes what we want to be may not always be in our own best interest. And so how do you navigate that? How do you navigate the spectrum of how much am I self-aware enough to know what actually is in my own best interest versus how much am I outsourcing my own desires and wants and personality and hopes and dreams and outsourcing that to another influence that also may or may not know what is in my true best interest. Oof. It's complicated. It's complicated. It's like when you're a kid, you don't ever want to do what your parents tell you. Your parents are saying, hey, eat broccoli and go to bed early. And you're going, well, I don't want to eat broccoli and go to bed early. I want to stay up, play video games, and eat ice cream. Right? So how much do we really know? I mean, it takes a tremendous amount of courage to stand up to any sort of theology or government or family or school or employer, that is established and that is telling you, hey, you have to be this certain way in order to be successful in our system, in our society, or whatever it is. And there's probably always some truth to that as well. Oh man, I feel like I'm all over the place with this. And again, it's something that I'm still working through. So, again, I'm kind of hesitant to give advice other than just to sort of talk my feelings out and just to, if nothing else, just provide a voice for how difficult that can be. And just to send all my love and understanding to anybody out there who is struggling to really understand who they are, especially when who they are may seem to be in opposition with an outside entity trying to tell them that they need to be something different or that they shouldn't be who they are. And even in the religious faith that I was raised in, it wasn't really a religious culture that supported stand-up comedy. There's actually quite a bit of resistance to stand-up comedy in general, because there was and is a huge influence in the religious faith to avoid any sort of entertainment that isn't wholesome. Like not watching rated R movies, not listening to music that is, that's intense or that has vulgar lyrics, and, avoiding watching any, TV or movies or books or magazines, music. I mean, anything that is not like G or PG rated. And stand-up comedy often is not, it's definitely not G rated. And so just even that was a bit of a resistance and a friction for me trying to do stand-up comedy. There's also a huge amount of pressure to get married young, start a family, and to get into a career that is, well, let's just put it bluntly, that can make a lot of money. And that is like an established business type career. Go be a doctor, a lawyer, get into insurance, be an engineer, be a dentist, something like that. Never, ever do I ever remember growing up hearing, hey, follow your dreams and your passion. And if comedy and acting and performing is in your heart, then you should go all in and pursue that. At least that's how it occurred to me. Now, I'm not saying that my experience is ubiquitous, so I'm not trying to be critical of the religion in and of itself, other than just to say that I didn't ever feel like I could pursue my comedy dreams in the manner that I wanted to without creating friction between who I was being told that I needed to be. And that is not easy. It's not easy. And it's something that I still grapple with to this day, and I'm still striving to really find out who I really am at my core and who I want to be, and I was going to say, and who I'm supposed to be. I don't like that word supposed to be, and I don't know why I don't like it. I can't, I don't want to try to unpack that because this is already getting a little, a little convoluted as it is. So, reconciling who you are or who you want to be with other people's expectations and other people's behavior, and how other people are expecting you to be, and how people are treating you and behaving towards you because of who they expect you to be. Definitely a very challenging conundrum to navigate. And having the courage to hold your ground and say, you want to know what? I don't believe in what I'm being told, or I don't accept how I'm being treated, and I'm going to have the courage to be who I want to be and who I feel inspired and encouraged to be, in spite of anybody else's opinion, is, again, probably one of the biggest challenges of my life. And I'm still working on it. And I've had to make some pretty hard decisions in that realm. Some pretty major ones, just even within the last couple of years. I had to choose to leave a relationship, which was probably the hardest thing I've ever done. I chose to separate myself from a comedy theater that I had worked with for the better part of 15 years of my life after I was being treated and disrespected in a manner that I just wasn't willing to accept or tolerate, and was just unacceptable to me. And I had to make a decision if I was going to allow them to how do I word this? It was almost like they were trying to minimize who I am and trying to control who I am by almost taking punitive measures to punish me for what they considered, I guess, actions that they didn't agree with. And it was almost like they were trying to subject me to some sort of shame, as though what I had done was wrong. And I quite frankly didn't feel wrong at all for what I had done. And anyway, so when they try to treat me that way, I just had to go, no, I'm not doing that. I'm not going to accept this, and I'm not going to be shamed for something that was not bad behavior. And by the way, that's not to say that I haven't been guilty of plenty of misbehavior in my life. And anytime I ever have, I have always tried to acknowledge, wrongdoing and apologize and make amends where possible. But there is such a thing as people trying to elicit shame from you when it actually has nothing to do with you. It has everything to do with them. And learning to navigate that is not easy. And so again, just my heart goes out to everybody out there as you are striving to pursue and navigate your dreams and your passions, and seeking to find your own autonomy and your own self-actualization, and trying to understand who you really are and what it is that is important to you and what your value system is and how you want to navigate through the world, and how you're choosing to do so in a manner that hopefully is not abusive or is toxic towards other people as you pursue your dreams. And that's kind of that's kind of the flip side of it is, it kind of goes back to the, being a kid and wanting ice cream and to stay up late. It's like, well, yeah, maybe in some cases, if your self-actualization is, I just want to screw everybody over and, rob, steal, and cheat. It's like, well, maybe you shouldn't. Maybe you should listen to society and knock it off, So I don't know. I guess that's the personal journey that we all have to figure out for ourselves, while acknowledging that we are also human beings, and human beings are tribal, and we all live in some tribe to some degree or another, whether it's a tribe of location and geography, or a tribe of family, or a tribe of theology, or a tribe of political ideologies, or a tribe of hobbies, or a tribe of profession. And trying to navigate how much of our personal autonomy we sacrifice to allow ourselves to be absorbed in the tribe, versus how much do we want to be an individual and potentially be at odds or create friction with the tribe? Oh, man. Paul Green Comedy Podcast, getting all kinds of philosophical here today. I don't think I solved anything. If anything, in this episode maybe just made everybody go, what the hell am I doing? So again, just know that whatever struggle you are having out there, I hear you, I feel you, I see you, and my heart goes out to you. And just know that if you're out there and you're pursuing a dream, and your dream is, as part of your dream, you have no hint of a desire to cause harm to anybody, then I'm all for it. And if your dream is to go out there and create, or to, produce, to create a company, to create a family, to create art, to write, to, build, whatever it is. My belief is that if your heart is truly in the space of creation, then you'll be able to do so in a manner that actually will not necessitate mistreating anybody. At least not intentionally. And if there ever is mistreatment, then I would always say extend as much grace to yourself and to others as possible, but also recognize that there may just be some people whose actions and behavior are just not appropriate or consistent with who you are and who you want to be, and you may have to separate yourself and move on and allow space for people into your life who are going to provide peace and support and love and safety and encouragement and inspiration and be a positive resource. And that has been my experience. All right, everybody. Man, I did not know this podcast was going to go in that direction. But, I don't map any of this stuff out. I don't really think a whole heck of a lot about what I'm going to talk about. I just start yapping away and just start pulling on threads and see where my stream of consciousness goes. So I hope anything I said today is of value to you, and that you're out there pursuing your dreams, finding happiness, finding joy, finding good people to share the journey with you. And you have my love and support. All right, everybody, that's all for today. Paul Green Comedy Podcast, October 20th, 2024, episode 298. I love you all so much. I'll talk to you tomorrow.